Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us this morning. Our first conversation stems from something that was released approximately 1 week ago from the Regulated Industries Commission, and that is the maximum rates that TNTech can now charge following their consultations and following their proposal put forward. Now, such deliberations, as was mentioned, has been put forward to the board of TNTech. They, in turn, will have to speak to their line minister, which is the Minister of Public Utilities, and they'll have to notify the public at least 21 days before any changes are made. But they also have to notify the Regulated Industries Commission at least 3 months before such changes are made. And just to quickly remind you, the Commission's maximum rates are projected to earn TNTech up to $4.8 billion, so it can increase their revenues by about 50%, up from the average of $3.2 billion. Now, this is not profit, this is revenue, completely different. Depending on usage, new rates for 2023-2024 will increase between 15 and 64%. Rates will also increase between 37 and 51% for small businesses in category B1 and 10 to 12% for larger businesses in category B2. There will also be an increase of between 58 and 72% for Class D industrial customers and 119 to 126% for Class E industrial customers. Ladies and gentlemen, as I begin the program this morning, I welcome Mr. Kiran Singh. He's the president of the Greater San Fernando Area Chamber of Commerce, and he is with us via Zoom. Hello, sir. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Keaton, and good morning to Trinidad and Tobago. It's always a pleasure to be on your station.
Well, thank you very much for joining me, sir. It's always a pleasure to have you. Well, as I mentioned in the introduction, TNTech has proposed the rates. We are aware of this at this point in time. Just about a week ago, that was revealed. That's Regulated Industries Commission. But TNTech needs to notify the RSC at least 21 days before such is implemented. Is this something that has been spoken about for quite some time that is welcomed, or is there still some major concerns?
Keaton, well, we have some major concerns, of course, with the announcement by RSC that they have approved a rate increase by such a significant percentage across the board that will affect every single person in the society, whether you're a householder or a business person or a layman, a pensioner, whoever that might be. And the percentage ranges from 15% in domestic to 26% in industrial. It's a very wide range of electrical increases that have been proposed, and we can't be comforted by the maximum rate that can be applied, because if we look at an average, the mean figure in between of these proposed rate increases, it is a significant amount that has to be borne by the population, starting even in the residential sector. And the concerns that we have even in that residential sector, where the tier is the lowest in the range of increases, is that the cottage industries that occupy some of the households, this is where some of the businesses that occupy the SME sector, they start within the garages and the kitchens of some person's households. And this is speaking to the bakeries, food processing, catering, hairdressing, makeup, and those types of businesses normally start in a person's home, and then they blossom into the SME sector, where they go out and they get into a retail environment, and they go on to become conglomerates and so on. But when that happens, or before that happens, the electrical consumption is going to increase immediately to the person who is in the cottage industry type environment. And it's going to pose a challenge, because the unit cost goes up for the small business person who cannot afford to compete with the larger businesses and offer a very affordable product or service to the average consumer. Even consultancy services, they would need to have the use of the air conditioning, fans, computers, electronic devices within the household environment. And this is going to pose a challenge to those who occupy the households. And when we go to the commercial sector, which is where the majority of the SMEs occupy, what we notice is that the range goes up to over 50% increase. So for instance, if your electricity bill is 10,000, it is going to go up to almost 15,000, in some cases more than that, per month, because of the fact that we are moving from bi-monthly to monthly. And some people will say that, the experts will say that we need to move to an upgraded billing cycle, which is monthly for utilities. It's a worldwide type of situation that happens where we bill monthly for every service that we require. And what we're going to see is that we will have an increased expenditure across the board because of electricity. And what we notice is that at this time, as we face electrical consumption increases through the rate fares, is that we are faced with rising cost of living, we have inflation increasing, and inflation is driven by two main factors: transport and food.
Yes.
And transport has gone up exponentially because of the increasing cost of fuel, with diesel and gas. And with food, we all know what is happening with the food prices on the grocery shelves and in the supermarkets. The prices have not decreased, even though the shipping costs have decreased. Why is that? We remain quite perplexed as to the shipping costs have gone down to almost pre-pandemic levels. We haven't seen any reduction in any significant way of goods that enter our country's borders. And why does this continue to happen? What is the reason for that we are not seeing a decrease in prices for basic goods at our shelves?
Well, Mr. Singh, let me just interject there for a moment, because interestingly, the RIC has made two arguments. The first also, in a way, correlates to the point that you're making. The RIC has argued that rates could have been higher because the state is only charged 75% of the true cost of what it takes to produce electricity here in TNT. So the RIC has taken the position that this is reasonable and just, even though rates could have been much higher given that 75% price tag as compared to the full cost.
Right, so that's a very good point. And the discussion that we are having from the business community with respect to that is that we also heard that TNTech pays for excess capacity. Is that the phrase that they use, or reserve capacity, or unused demand that or supply that is put forward by the generation companies for TNTech? So they pay for it even though it's not used. If that is so, there should be some renegotiation of the contracts to reduce the cost to TNTech to supply electricity to the general public of Trinidad and Tobago. And also, if we're looking at increasing the rates of a product or a service, any business person will say, but where's the increase in efficiencies that TNTech proposes? We have, anytime there's a power outage or low voltage or low shedding or whatever these phrases that they use in the industry, and business persons, householders lose appliances, equipment due to power failures or a spike in electricity. There's no rebates, no credit, no system to recover that lost expense. When electricity is cut, business places immediately have to shut their doors because the place becomes a very dark environment. It becomes frightening, unfortunately, for the store clerks. And they have to leave. They have to lock their doors for fear of the crime and everything else that goes with the lack of electricity in any environment.
What is the actual opinion of yourself and the business chairman in regards to the second argument put forward by the RIC chairman, Dawn Callender, that B1 commercial rates and industrial class D rates were increased by smaller margins so that the cost is not bared by the consumer, it's not passed on by the consumer. To the consumer.
Well, of course, that is a very low tier, and it is good for the commercial sector, but how many business enterprises would fall within that subsector of the commercial tier of the electrical categories that they have proposed for us here in this country? And it is still an increase, and yes, it is lower, and we should be appreciative of that fact. But the fact is that you still have to pay other ancillary charges that goes with that when you're in the commercial category of reserve. You pay for fuel rate, fuel exchange adjustments. You pay VAT. You pay fixed. There's a fixed cost that you pay whether you use the electricity or not. And these are hidden charges that you don't see when you go from residential to commercial and even industrial. So yes, the 10% and 12% is welcome, but what we also have to remember, Kitan, is that we're talking about electricity increases in the business context, but the business persons are going to face two increases because they don't live at their business places. They live in their homes. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have to pay an increase for electricity at their homes, and they're also going to have to pay an increase in electricity at their business places. Mm-hmm. So they have two increases of electricity that they're facing. And I hope that people are cognizant of this fact, that it is going to hit them from two different sides as we go into the discussion, and we hope that the Honorable Minister can allay the fears of such a drastic increase over a short period of time, because we haven't heard of an exact start date or implementation date. And of course, we wait to hear word of that. And of course, TNTech not taking such a drastic move to increase by such a drastic amount the percentage that is recommended by the RIC. I mean, some people will see that TNTech is overstaffed, as an example. When you see so many, a crew of men working on a power outage or downline, and you wonder, what are these guys standing around doing? Mm. And it begs the question that when you look at foreign power companies, and they have half of the staff doing the same type of work that you would see happening in our Twin Island Republic, and you wonder, well, why is that so? What is causing this huge amount of labor that can be done by half the amount of workers?
Well, in instances of where the electricity bill is included in rent, is it that it's expected that rent not only will go up, but the other aspect in terms of the business community as well is that $3 increase to the minimum wage. All of this, how does it compound the existing pressures on businesses as we speak?
And this is somewhat of a worrying situation for us, because apart from that, we also have the lumen property tax. It has been approved, and it is just a matter of time before property tax is also implemented. So we will have to deal with that increased tax burden of the property tax. We have the oncoming electrical increase. We understand that WASA has applied to RIC for a rate adjustment. We still have insurances to pay, mortgages, and all the other expenses that go with running a business. And all these factors must be taken into consideration when looking at increase in the energy supply for the society, because it's not in isolation of everything else. We have been witnessing an extreme cost of living over the last couple of years, and of course is part due to the pandemic and other global factors. And also we have soft energy prices, we have lower supply of gas. We know more of a gas economy as opposed to oil. Mm-hmm. And we're still very energy dependent, and that will remain so for some time until the Dragon gas deal, we hope, comes off within the next 2 years to alleviate some of the strain and stress that is on the exchange rate for us.
Are there any ways or measures that businesses can reduce their electricity consumption, or is that extremely difficult to do?
It's quite an uphill battle, but I mean, we're up for the challenge, and we know that the government has signed several agreements for solar power, for instance, and we need to move away from fossilized fuel energy consumption to renewable energy. Not only the government, but the private sector has been engaged in this as well. We have a business house in San Fernando that produces, that manufactures solar panels and accessories and so on. And it's still somewhat prohibitive in terms of cost. When we look at Barbados, for instance, practically every household has a solar power water heater. Mm-hmm. We don't have that in this country. But we know that there are certain development of solar farms, and there's talk about wind power, and of course hydrogen, which is the new kid on the block in terms of energy, green energy, and that seems to be a very exciting project for us in this country. We are, believe it or not, in the top 3 in terms of where we are ready to move forward with a plant that will produce this green energy for us in the country, and that could make a serious difference on the impact of the demand for fossilized fuel electricity generation in this country. But immediately, solar power is the way to go, and we would look to the government to further incentivize the solar power industry to allow not only business persons, but householders to um, consume solar power for their activities that requires energy consumption, and that can reduce the demand for the electricity on the grid, and we can even put back unused consumption back into the grid, as some developed countries do. And that would put an entire new argument into the discussion, where there automatically is a reduction on the stress for the foreign dollar and a reduction on the demand for the electricity from TNTech. And this is one of the ways we can immediately move forward. And these are the discussions that should be more proactive to get in these discussions more proactive to reduce the demand before we get to that rate increase.
Now, my final question to you, sir, actually stems from something I don't think people have generally thought of. There's the proposal as well to change your bill from bi-monthly to monthly. The issue with that is, how efficient do you think that could be, in the sense that sometimes when you get your bill delivered by TT Post, your bill was due 2 weeks ago? Is that also a major issue? Because TNTech at this point in time are actually very quick to disconnect if you are overdue.
So we speak to the digitalization process in this country. We have a government ministry developed solely for that purpose. And we would have thought TNTech would have been a little more ahead in terms of online payments with respect to your bills. So that, as you said, if there's a delay in the bill getting to your home or your business place, you can still pay it online without having the fear of your electricity being cut because you haven't paid your bill. And TNTech will tell you that it's not their responsibility if you did not get your bill in the mail. You have to go and check, and it's a nightmare to get into TNTech. There are always long lines outside of the offices. Even in San Fernando, they've erected tents. And every day, literally, you see a line of people outside waiting to go into the office, which is fairly large. And we wonder why is it that people have to stand outside to brace the elements of the weather, and people are treated so as not humans. And we're going to pay. We're not going to ask for charity or something free. We are going to pay for the service that TNTech is providing. But yet still, it is not affordable for us from a societal point of view, to allow us to be more comfortable, Peter.
Mr. Singh, a lot more to be discussed, but I think a lot more could be said following consultations with the Honourable Minister. And let's hope that in itself proves fruitful, not only for the business community, but for the rest of the people here in Trinidad and Tobago. So thank you very much for your time this morning and for sharing your thoughts and opinions with us on behalf of the business community and the San Fernando area, that Chamber of Commerce. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for the invitation, and Trinidad and Tobago, be safe out there.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure. Have a good day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick break here on the program. On routine, we're going to get into the same topic, but focusing on Tobago. We'll be right back after this.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
If these walls could talk, they'd cry uncle. They didn't plan to become offices or yoga studios, but they've stood by us, even when we got a little stir-crazy. For that, they deserve some thanks. They deserve Benjamin Moore.
Join me, Dr. Nalini Kokram, on What's Up Doc, where we discuss all your burning questions concerning health.
Trinidad and Tobago is among one of the highest risk group of patients that develop this form of genetic breast cancer.
What I'd like to take home from a short interview like this, screening. You must screen.
Because it's silent.
It's silent.
Yeah.
And because it's silent, you don't know it's there.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on it.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is it no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen. So as we started the program speaking about the RIC's proposed rates, we're focusing on Tobago this morning as I welcome the President of the Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Mr. Curtis Williams. Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning to all our listeners and viewers on station. Once more, morning.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for joining me this morning. The proposed rates, the potential socio-economic effects on Tobagonians, if you could kindly expand on such this morning, please.
Sure. The proposed rate for the business community is not something that we take lightly. We know that this rate will have a trickle-down effect on our consumers and our clients or customers, as the case may be. And it definitely gonna impact on them at the end of their receiving our services. So it's just definitely going to be a trickle-down effect, definitely.
Mm-hmm. In that regard, the rate increase for those who are already paying a high bill, even in commercial classes, as structured by the Regulated Industries Commission, this further burden on them. Yes, we understand the effects on the business community, but consumers this morning will also be wondering, is there no other alternative but to pass on the cost to them?
Well, definitely. Coming out of COVID, most of us in Tobago, we're struggling now, trying to get things back to where it ought to be. And we know an increase of this nature will definitely, we can't absorb anymore. We probably lean, we're thin now, and there's nothing much we have to pass in terms of observation. So we can't absorb anything. Our absorption is really, really down to bare minimum. Let's look at the minimum wage that's going to come January. And when we look at the minimum wage, we look at the electricity on the corner, and we look at WASA peeping over the bridge, and then we look at property tax coming wrong. So given these 4 different rate increases, how you think the business will going to cope with it? We definitely will pass the cost on to the customers.
Mm-hmm. Well, given all that you said, that is indeed rather concerning. But beyond just that, TNTech's position, the RIC's position that it could help TNTech improve their services, is in regards to a reinvestment of infrastructure and, of course, all the supplies necessary for electrical connections across Trinidad and Tobago and a steady stream of an electricity supply. Is that one, of course, that is acceptable in regards to the rate increase?
Well, but let's open the thing and look at the TNTech in its operation. There are opportunities in TNTech in its operation to do cost savings. We all know, we see for ourselves. And so this much rate increase giving TNTech more revenue, fine, it sounds good, it sounds sexy on paper, but let's come to reality. And when we look at TNTech, there are opportunities for cost savings. And we ask that we definitely want to hold TNTech responsible, and we look at them. So even though you want to give them more revenue, we're going to look at their operations and see where their cost savings, and if these things come to full, we're definitely going to identify them. We have to understand all these rate increases. Let's use an example, the minimum rate increase. And it was just a bare $3 as was stated from the minister and others. But there are other costs associated with rate increases. Let's use an example, a security company operating in the industry. You increase the salary by $3, but there are other things that will definitely increase. The NIS payment definitely will be increased. You have casual leave will increase. You have sick leave. You have vacation leave. Then you have insurances, workman compensation. That bulk of, because all these things are pegged on a salary bill. So when you have an increase in salary, all these that I listed earlier on will increase, and hence the reason you, as the business person, have to foot that cost. So it's not just the $3 that you're just bantering around, that the business person will have a $3, but they will have all these other items or other things that will increase, and they have to bear the burden.
Now that cost savings, as you've mentioned by TNTech, do you think they've fully explored that, or do you think that this is just a quick and easy way to get out of their financial situation? TNTech is owed a lot of money, not just by consumers, but by the state and state entities as well.
And that's what it's saying. Why the state don't pay their bills? I know if I don't pay my TNTech bill within 30 days, my electricity will go. And so you have all these state enterprises owing TNTech and making TNTech operate at a deficit and giving them hardship by not having a cash flow situation. And some of the bills, I know TNTech have to pay bills, and they have to pay some of the bills in the US dollars. So you can imagine the kind of a hardship that TNTech will incur. But who to be blamed? Are you blaming the consumer, poor business folks like us in Tobago who's striving just to make a dollar, or the bigger guys in them who have the funds and then could pay?
So then is TNTech looking at the wrong avenues then? And I'm stressing on that a bit this morning because another argument that has been put forward is that this was inevitable. TNT has been paying some of the lowest electricity rates in the Western Hemisphere. And if you look down to the Caribbean, in the Caribbean as well, we have probably the lowest electricity rates that we have been benefiting from, and it's time for an increase, given all associated with producing electricity, including the cost of energy.
Well, I understand what's happening there, but we as the business community, all these increases, you can't just drop all of it on us at one time. If you stagger these increases over a period of time, within probably a 2-year period, but put in everything come January 1st, we will see a lot of increases. That's very, very harsh on us as a business community.
Now, in regard to alternative sources of energy, for example, there have already been some considerations in regard to solar energy, but is there a need, if we are going to have such increases, for further concessions to be made and further encouragements for the use of alternative energy sources?
Yeah, that sounds great. We know that the idea have been bantered around, alternative source of energy. But let's get real and make the thing practical. We talk a lot in Trinidad and Tobago. A lot of issues. We go into all these fancy conferences. We have to go green, and then we come back, and then what happens? And so we need action, and we need positive action. We need incentive for the business community. If you're going to take something or you're going to increase something on one end, give us something on the other end. Give us some incentive that we can balance our equation as we go forward. But don't give us on one end and nothing on the other end that we cannot balance the equation going forward.
Now, furthermore, I'm going to tie an issue that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago into this equation as well, one that you consider, and that is getting goods across to the island of Tobago, the transport services, the inter-island transport services that allow for the transport of goods to the island of Tobago. Now, from what I understand, that has sort of settled, and the Minister of Works and Transport has indicated that they are exploring options for a new vessel in 2024. But is that service still efficient, or is it that with increased electricity rates and the difficulties getting goods to the island, that the business community on the island of Tobago are just going to have shorter supplies, increased costs? There's going to be a chain effect.
Well, as mentioned, moving items across to Tobago, the prices definitely, you will see the difference in prices. And the same product you're trying to get in Trinidad as compared to Tobago, there's a small increase in terms of paying for transport, time, etc. In terms of the cargo vessel, things is a bit back to normal. We start to enjoy the daily sailing, and most of our hardwares and food, so we are up to capacity now. We're now moving into the carnival, Tobago Carnival, so we're trying to get that excitement, that buzz on the island, so that we could see some sort of movement, some sort of commerce that could really pay our bills, because September gone was really, really terrible. We were not able to pay most of our bills, and who barely get through, well, we're just able to just break even, if so much. But we're looking forward to October to be a little more critical and exciting month.
Mm-hmm. Well, my final question to you this morning, Mr. Williams, is it's simple. As we started the program asking you the socio-economic fallout, I mean, how much more pressure can the private sector in Tobago bear?
You're right. We never have a real peaceful 6 months. There's always issues upon issues, something going up, something going down, something breaking down. So the folks in Tobago operating business is under tension on a yearly, monthly basis. We are under tremendous tension as we go forward. We look at it, just over the weekend, there was a little surge in crime, and so we now had to step up our game, and we asked all our members to be vigilant throughout this carnival period. I know I had a meeting with the police on Monday, and they promised to step up their game as well. There are a lot of exercises being conducted on the island at the port, and we want to say thanks to them for that, because we can't, with crime being there foremost, is another cost. So you see how all these costs added to folks operating business on the island.
Mr. Williams, is Tobago changing to the extent where it may soon fall under that category of paradise lost?
We have to save it. It's there. We are on the brim of something happening, but we need to save it. We, the residents of the island, we definitely have to save it. So we have to push our political heads to ensure that they seek the interests of the residents of the island and the business community.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for your time this morning. I appreciate your commentary, and hopefully, as I mentioned to my last guest, given the consultations with the relevant authorities, that we may have some better news to share with the public in time to come. But all the best to you and to the rest of the Tobago business community and Tobagonians in the next week or so with Tobago's carnival celebrations. Hopefully that alone, as you said, will bring back some excitement.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it, and we want to invite all our viewers or listeners. Please, Tobago is open up for business. Please come across and enjoy the Tobago Carnival over this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You have a good day.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to my two guests this morning as we speak about the proposed electricity rate increase put forward by the Regulated Industries Commission. You take some time to let the news sink in and let people analyze this and get the thoughts of their membership and their business community, and that's exactly what we did on AM Prime. 1 week is enough time to really get a better understanding, a true understanding of all that is taking place. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, just before we go to news on the hour, to share some regional updates with you this morning, and it's coming from Jamaica. The International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, has downgraded its growth outlook for Jamaica in its latest economic outlook released. The IMF predicted that the local economy is set to grow by 2% by the end of 2023. In its outlook earlier this year, that's early in 2023, the IMF projected growth of 2.2%. The IMF also projected slower growth for 2024 at 1.8%, a 0.2% downward revision. The forecast for 2028 remains at 1.6%. The IMF forecast comes days after the World Bank upgraded its outlook for Jamaica, with expected growth this year at 2.3%. This report from TVGV.
The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has downgraded its growth outlook for Jamaica marginally. The entity has, however, upgraded its outlook for the region and the world. In its latest economic outlook released Tuesday morning, the local economy is set to grow by 2% by the end of 2023. In its outlook earlier this year, the IMF projected growth of 2.2%. The International Monetary Fund also projected slower growth for 2024 at 1.8%, a 0.2% downward revision. The forecast for 2028 remains at 1.6%. The IMF's forecast comes days after the World Bank upgraded its outlook for Jamaica, with expected growth for this year at 2.3%. Meanwhile, for the Latin America and Caribbean region, the IMF has upgraded its GDP outlook to 2.3% growth. In April, the projection for this year was 1.6%. The IMF says the region's GDP will also grow by 2.3% next year, reflecting a 0.1% improvement in the outlook. For 2028, the growth forecast is 2.5%. up from the 2.3% programmed in April this year. The World Bank also upgraded the region's GDP outlook in its forecast last week. The IMF projects a 0.2% improvement in global growth for 2023 compared to its earlier forecast. Pierre-Olivier Gorinchas is the chief economist at the IMF.
Growth will slow from 3.5% last year to 3% this year and 2.9% next year, a 0.1 percentage point downgrade for 2024. This remains well below historical averages. Important divergences are appearing. The slowdown is more pronounced in advanced economies than in emerging markets and developing economies. Among advanced economies, the US has been revised up with resilient consumption and investment, while the euro area has been revised down as tighter monetary policy and the energy crisis took a toll.
The IMF also has a more favorable outlook on inflation.
Headline inflation continues to decelerate. Core inflation, excluding food and energy prices, is also projected to decline, but more gradually. However, all in all, most countries are not expected to return to inflation target until 2025. Taken together, our projections are increasingly consistent with a soft landing scenario, bringing inflation down without a major downturn in activity.
Here is the WESN News on the Hour. I am Sarah Ali. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Government's bail denial policy criticized for impact on single mothers. Ministry of Works provided update on Manzanilla Mayara Road rehabilitation. And regionally, Guyana rejects Venezuela's referendum questions on Essequibo region. Now for the details. In a recent statement, UNC Senator Jayanti Lakshmidial raised concerns about the government's approach to denying bail, which he argues may inadvertently create hardships for single mothers. Speaking during her contribution to the budget debate in Parliament, she criticized the government for what she referred to as intellectual laziness.
Think about the benefits of putting on an ankle bracelet on someone who is accused of a crime and giving them the opportunity to continue to work, take care of themselves. We have to allocate money in this budget to feed and house and try to clothe and give medical and dental and all the other support that is needed in the remand yard. You can cut that expenditure and buy the electronic monitoring bracelets and let people continue to see their children and have a relationship with their family, so that in the event that they are, after 9 years and 13 years, told, we have no evidence, go back home, their lives are destroyed, and that the state doesn't have to continue to bear the brunt of what is taking place with them. Where are the plans and the policies and the procedures within this budget to treat with those issues?
Lachmadial expressed her belief that the government's primary response to address the challenging crime situation is centered on denying bail to individuals and placing blame on the opposition UNC. The Ministry of Works and Transport has issued an update on the ongoing road rehabilitation efforts at the Manzilana-Mayara Road. This project aims to enhance the infrastructure in the region for the benefit of both residents and commuters. In a recent development, images reveal the progress of excavation works and the installation of geogrid at package 4 of the project. Additionally, a boulder layer has been successfully integrated into the construction process. The team from the Program for Upgrading Roads Efficiency Unit said they worked tirelessly to provide relief to the numerous motorists and community members. In a remarkable display of skill and determination, Team TTO Archers secured the top spot on the medal chart at the 2023 Caribbean Archery Development Championships held at the Dwight Hill Stadium in Tobago. This inaugural event in the English-speaking Caribbean saw Team TTO amass an impressive total of 53 medals, comprising 24 gold, 18 silver, and 11 bronze. Regionally, the government of Guyana has officially rejected the set of questions issued by the National Electoral Council of Venezuela in connection with the upcoming national referendum concerning Guyana's Essequibo region. Venezuela has scheduled a national referendum for December, primarily focused on its torrential claim to Guyana's Essequibo region. Guyana's government has taken a firm stance against these referendum questions, asserting that they are designed to advance Venezuela's unjust and baseless claim to over 2/3 of Guyana's national territory. A particular concern highlighted in the statement is one question seeking approval from the Venezuelan people for the creation of a new Venezuelan state, which would include Guyana's Essequibo region, ultimately incorporating it into Venezuela's national territory and extending Venezuelan citizenship to local population. With that seems to be all on WESN. I am Sierra Ali. Thanks for watching.
Since they were on sale, Laura bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? You'd better come and satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Wow Bucket. 7 pieces of chicken and 4 regular sides for $115. A finger-licking good deal.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, The Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
The newest book is here, Closer to the Church, the debut novel by author and former mayor Louis Lee Singh. Available at all the home store branches, Barataria, West Mall, Shogunas and C3 San Fernando. Paper-based bookshop 10 Nook Avenue St. Anne's, WESN 30A Gattaca Street Woodbrook, Metropolitan Bookshop Ariapita Avenue Woodbrook, and all RIK bookstores nationwide. Available online as paperback on Amazon.com and Kindle for e-readers. For more info, call 628-5835 or 389-6504. Also available from author Louis Lee Singh, I Used to Live in Heaven, Letters to My Granddaughters, and Local Government in Trinidad, Conspiracy Against the People.
My name is Carl Media. I'm the founder and the host
of ever-increasing voice ministries. Join me every Saturday and Sunday on WESN, this powerful station, at 9 a.m. on Saturdays, 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. nightly. Also on Sundays, I'll be on at 7 a.m., 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. at night time. When you come here, we are getting people heavenly ready.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Let the home store turn your house into a home you love. Get everything you need to give your home that special look and feel. We offer household items, lawn and garden, paint center, hardware, plumbing, lighting and electrical, toys and storage solutions. 5 convenient locations: 6th Avenue Barataria, The Falls at Westmore, Pennywise Plaza Shoguanas, C3 Center Branch and C3 San Fernando. Check out our Facebook page for more information and come visit us today. The Home Store. Turn your house into a home you love.
From Maracas Bay to Arapita Avenue and Piaco, Richard's Bake and Shag brings the world's most popular fish sandwich closer to you. Open daily at all our locations.
You gave us the inspiration to be first. We gave you the solutions that put you first. You walked with us side by side, and we continued to serve you with pride. First Citizen celebrates with you 30 years of achieving dreams, shaping success stories, and painting brighter futures together. And together, we'll accomplish so much more. First Citizens, together, 30 and beyond.
Welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us this morning. It's Wednesday. So do you know what that means? It's Wild Wednesday. And we welcome to the program the founder of the El Socorro Wildlife Conservation. It's a lot of words, actually. It's a bit of a tongue twister for me. Still getting used to it. Ricardo Mead is with me in studio. And he's brought 2 friends. First of all, let's welcome back Donna Karim. And of course, the king that is sitting with her. Hello there.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. It's actually great to be back in Trinidad, resting from a very intense trip to Tobago. People thought, hey, you went to Tobago, that's great. It was intense. It was tough. Very much so indeed.
Good morning to you too. How are you doing? All is well? Donna, how are you doing? It's good to see you again.
Thank you. It's nice to be back here again.
I see you've brought a friend with us. Who is this gentleman or gentle lady? Let me not assume.
Well, we think it's a male. Yeah. So this is our common black hawk. His name is T'Challa. So as you can see there, he has, he has 1 wing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he has 1 wing.
He's still full of life, isn't he?
Yep. So this is one of our rehabilitation patients. He came in May of 2022. Someone shot him.
Oh, cranky.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. He came from the Lopino area. So some villagers found him on the foundation. So they contacted the center. We went and we picked it up. By the time the hawk got to the center, we realized that the wing there, it was rotten. Like you open the box and all you could smell was decaying flesh. And it had so much maggots.
So he was in a bad state?
For a long while, yeah. Before
guys,
someone found him.
You guys have given him a second lease on life.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow. So Ricardo, tell us more about the common black hawk.
Well, it is one of I think we have about 16 different species of hawks in Trinidad.
Really?
White hawk, black hawk, common black hawk, great black hawk, broad-winged hawk, short-tailed hawk, you name it. We have hawks in Trinidad. We have a lot of raptors. That's why we got to keep coming on the show and showing these things and educating people. And many people don't even pay attention to this bird. When it's younger, so it's under 2 years old, it has a rufous pattern, a sort of brown motley color, as many of them are. Okay, and then they change. Okay, so they reach a point about 2.5 years, and they will molt out these brown feathers, and their true adult colors will come in. So his adult color would be black, as a common black hawk. So he's smaller than the great black hawk, which is a pretty big, impressive bird that we have in Trinidad also. But he's close in size, just a little bit bigger than the zone-tailed hawk, who would kind of look like him. So, but what these hawks do that's very interesting is that they use the black vultures as cover.
The black vultures as cover?
Yes. So you would look up and you would see circling black vultures, and you just, you see one, you see two, that's black vultures, that's what they do, they're circling. They're looking for something dead, carrion to eat, right? Nothing runs from a black vulture because they usually eat you when you're dead.
Yeah.
So if, for example, let's say a squirrel or an agouti on the ground looks up, vultures, no problem, puts his head back down. But hiding amongst that circling group or flock of vultures would be a black hawk or a zone-tailed hawk. And they imitate their flight with the tilts and stuff like that until they get low enough where they can literally burst through, dart down, and grab their prey that are very unsuspecting because they thought all that was up there was vultures.
No, wow, that is most incredible. What you know, are the common prey that they actually hunt?
These guys love crabs a lot, and
Crabs?
lizards. Crabs, lizards, snakes.
Is it that they live
small mammals
close to the coastline?
Yeah, well, not just the coastline. Remember, we have crabs all through the forest and mountain crabs and river crabs and so on. Even in drains, you have crabs. You know, I've had ponds that crabs have migrated from the drains and lived in the pond. They're like, this is clean, nice water. So crabs can get around anywhere. So they're all over, and that's one of their favorite foods. So they love the mangrove areas also. Okay, so the mangroves will extend inland a bit through the rivers and the wetlands and so on. So they're quite common.
Oh, well, common black hawk.
Common black hawk, you know. And you'll be surprised. And wow, I saw one here. That is strange. We're far. No, just a blink, and you're right there on the coast. The water's right there. Movie Tongue is right there. Invaders Bay is right there.
And the mangroves are there too.
And south of the beach, mangrove. So they're really all over. Trinidad is small. They get around real quick.
So these are quite populous birds.
The numbers we believe are in decline because just based on numbers that we have gotten that people have shot and killed. And we can say if we get 2, there's probably 40 more out there that we did not get to or get to us.
So these birds are commonly shot? On purpose? Or?
Yes. What else would you be shooting? From the time you're shooting a bird in Trinidad now, it's illegal. They're just about all protected. So what are you shooting? You're breaking laws, you know, you got your little pellet gun, your air rifle, and you're just trigger happy. The list of birds that have come into the center shot, and my collection of pellets, they go from parrots, pelicans, ibis, scarlet ibis, all the hawks you can imagine, gray-lined hawk, white hawk, you name it. People just shoot anything. Have gun, will shoot. That's part of the problem.
Wow. Donna, he seems to be speaking quite a lot to you this morning.
Oh yeah, he's very vocal. Yeah. Just touch your foot there. Hello. Is that okay? Yeah?
So that noise is something that I actually hear quite often. Because I live in a valley, so we're surrounded by mountains, but I hear that noise often. Generally speaking, hawks make that particular sound, or is it something that's unique to him?
I would say it's more unique to him. Each of them has their own frequency in their different noises, different pitches and all that. So so for example, he has something that's to me, I think his sound is actually more similar to this voiceover that they use for the bald eagles.
Yeah.
So if you actually hear what the bald eagle sounds like, it literally sounds like a peep squeak.
But that noise as well, what's the exact purpose of vocals? Because animals use vocals for different reasons.
Well, so I had him over a year now, I would say about a year and a half. When I got him, he was still a juvenile. So he's partly imprinted on me. So every time he sees me, he makes that noise. So that's his way of letting me know he's ready for food. Yeah, because we didn't feed him this morning because we had to be up here early. So he's just letting me know, hey, when is food coming?
So what about feeding? Because as you said, you've had him for a year. I know Ricardo said they eat crabs and small mammals.
Yeah.
But what do you guys feed him?
So I try to keep his diet as close to in the wild as possible. And he does actually love crabs. I try my best to go as much as I could. Right, Karen, there, and I collect some crabs and I gave him it. He doesn't really seem to like frogs, but the crabs, yeah, as soon as you throw it in there, he's gonna jump on that, take apart the gundi, and just get down in that crab. That's his favorite thing.
It's live feeding as well? You guys
yeah,
feeding?
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
It's part of enrichment to keep them stimulated.
Oh, excellent. Easy. I'm glad that
thinking about the crab right now.
You heard the word crab.
Yeah.
Ricardo, why are these birds important to the environment, especially hawks? But
what they do, what they eat. This world has achieved an amazing state of balance with the life forms. And then comes human and we just mess everything up because we don't understand. We don't care to understand, or we believe that we have some supreme right to dominate everything without realizing that which we dominate is what we need for survival. Again, we're at the top of the pyramid, but a pyramid can't stand without a base. A big, broad base made up of a lot of biodiversity and eco, balance. Once you destroy that, that top is going to come crumbling down. There's nothing to stand on. So we stand on that. And our aim is to educate people about that broad base, especially that we have here in Trinidad. Our broad base of biodiversity. So many animals, so many fishes, so much. But with our activity, they keep dwindling, and it's become harder and harder. Imagine forests that are no longer green. What will we have? Car parks? Savannas? Just grass? We need that biodiversity. So many things we talk about, you get sick, get some zebra peak, get some shining bush, get some Christmas bush, get some chandelier bush, and all that stuff. Imagine all of that gone. So now you get sick, all you have is pharmaceuticals as a pill in the pharmacy that were once based on these things. These things are now being grown under lab conditions in another country. We have it here and we don't regard it and we destroy it. So our aim is to educate people to just preserve, conserve, and let everything work in balance. And that is really hard to do, but we try.
How old is T'Challa? How old do you think he is?
Well, based on the fact that he is molting and has gotten his adult feathers, I would say between 3.5 years old.
And what's the general lifespan of birds like the common black?
Well, they would do 9 years. It's really good for them in the wild. In captivity, they can do 20 to 25 years.
Ooh. So you might make a second, third, and fourth appearance on the show.
Right. And it's a simple thing. In the wild, they have so many dangers. You have to be perfect almost all the time. And it's hard to be perfect all the time. And so if they miss and go after the wrong snake, it can harm them and they can die. If they miss and try to go after an animal that's close to a building and they hit the building, break a wing, they can die. If they fly around people trying to go after a chicken, they can be shot. There's so many things, perils that they face.
Wow.
Less than 75% of them make it to 3 years old.
Really?
Yeah. So when you have that smaller number, that's how Mother Nature has made it for the balance. So all of a sudden you don't have 100 black hawks just in an area eating out everything. Survival. In Mother Nature, really, it is really the survival of the fittest and the best. If you made it, it's because you went through all those perils. You didn't get shot, you didn't hit a building, you didn't get poisoned, you didn't get this. So you really have something special. And those are the genetic material that are passed on to hopefully make your offspring stronger and better.
Yeah,
but then they encounter humans and then all that is almost erased immediately.
I was just about to say probably the worst of all.
Yeah, all the dangers, yeah.
Well, what about other predators? Are there, like for example, the greater black hawk would hunt him?
Most likely not. What would possibly hunt them would be the spectacled owl.
Really?
Yeah. if they're nesting, the nestlings, maybe not the adults one, but the nestlings, these are diurnal, active during the day, sleeping at night. The owl is nocturnal, sleep during the day, active at night. So at night when they're out hunting and they see babies in a nest, we've seen videos of like great horned owls in the US grabbing falcons and hawks and so on from the nest. They just swoop in, and they'll be able to capture that because what they do a lot in the US, they do something called nest cams.
Yeah.
So they know the animals are nesting there and keep records and see what's going on and understand the activity. They put the camera there, so it's 24-hour monitoring. And on that nest cam, you just see in the nighttime, the baby chicks just bobbing their head around and just swooping, the feet just grab them and gone in just a flash of a second. And of course, they review and they slow it down and they see great horned owl comes right in and grabs them and go.
So that is most incredible. Donna, he's really, really happy to just be sitting there. He's saying, you know, all right, after this, I want double the amount of crabs.
Oh, yeah.
But you said that how you've had him for over a year. It'll soon be 2 years, actually. Just it's about a year and 8 months. But, you know, that imprints upon you. How has that relationship flourished just over the last year and a half, 2 years?
So he only started his training, I would say, within the past couple months, probably 6 months. So before that, so that would be like, yeah, within a year time, it was just taking him out of his cage every day, cleaning that wing, putting on bandage. He hated me. As soon as he see me, he knew. So he associated me with pain then, basically, because I would be the one to hold him and grab him, restrain him, clean that wing every day, bandage it. So he did not like me at all. He got me one time on my wrist right here, a day while holding him. My dad would usually help me restrain him. And a day he got onto my hand and he refused to let go. And my dad was like trying to lift one talon off and then he would just tighten the other talon. We had to wait for him to let go on his own.
Wow. And that must have been painful.
Oh yeah. I still have the scars. So it took a while to gain his trust in order for him to be this comfortable with me.
And now he just seems absolutely comfortable. But, you know, was it difficult, the rehabilitation process?
Oh yeah. It was, it involved a lot of work, a lot of time. It had a couple of times that I was so frustrated with this wing because even up to now, it's not fully healed. And, you know, I thought I was maybe using the wrong medication. I asked Ricardo, I asked different vets for their opinions, and still nothing wasn't really working.
Any thoughts though that he might not have made it? I mean, as you said, when he came in, he was in a really bad condition, but you guys said we're not giving up. But throughout this process, any thoughts about, listen, I don't know if he is going to make it?
No. I believe he's here with us. He made it through surgery and everything, and I believe he's here with us for a reason. And even no matter how hard it got, I wasn't ready to give up on him just yet.
Well, that's wonderful. He's thanking you.
Yeah.
Ricardo, something that is, you know, always curious is if you take a look at hawks, you always see their beaks curved like that. Why?
Tearing flesh.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. Tearing flesh. That's what they eat. Hawks are raptors. A raptor is an animal that kills and eats another animal, be it a fish, insect, amphibian, or bird, or mammal. So, that beak, just for ripping flesh.
And I know this might probably be a bit off topic, but how do you tell the difference between a hawk and an eagle?
Well, eagles' wingspans usually start at 6 feet. So we have no eagles in Trinidad.
Oh, wow.
None whatsoever.
Starts at 6 feet?
Starts at 6 feet.
I'm 6 feet.
Right, yeah. That's an eagle's wingspan starts at.
Yeah, thank God we don't have them.
What we have here in Trinidad are hawks like this. Wingspan can be up to 36 inches. We have hawk eagles. That's a hawk who wants to be an eagle, but just can't meet the eagle criteria. So we have hawk eagles. We have actually two hawk eagles. The ornate hawk eagle and the black hawk eagle. So we have two. And they're really amazing birds. They could have almost a little bit of growth again. They could have made an eagle, but it's just not there. So they're hawk eagles. So eagles are really, really, really powerful birds.
I'm actually getting a question from direct in my ear, and he's asking about one of my favorite raptors. not indigenous to Trinidad, but harpy eagle.
Harpy eagle, there you go.
And whether or not they can make it. Have we ever spotted a harpy eagle in Trinidad?
Not that I have known of, but if you want to see one, there is one, I believe, in the zoological, in the zoo, in Trinidad. But naturally, no, they've never been seen. They need that forest. They live up high in the canopies. They go after sloths and monkeys and so on.
And deer.
So they would have a hard time feeding here in Trinidad unless they start picking up little children or something.
I think I'm happy with having T'Challa on set. I think anything a little bit bigger would be a bit. No, but he's absolutely beautiful. I'm really sorry to hear about what happened with his wing, but I'm also glad that you guys brought him here because it just goes to show what these animals go through, what they face, and even how people just simply don't care.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for you guys, he wouldn't survive. So as you said, if you receive 2, there are probably 40 out there that you've missed.
But for people who don't care, but at the same time, a lady saw it, and she called it in, and then I called one of our volunteer supporters, and he was able to get into the area and get it, and then meet me up to transfer the bird, and then from us it went right away to Pet Life Veterinary for surgical and medical services and follow-up and so on. So it's not just us, it's a lot of people around us, and for every time I get angry and I want to beat the heck out of people for the nonsense they do, there's a good person somewhere to make a difference to counteract it. And if you can meet one, the story just show me 5 good men and I won't destroy the city. If you can meet one, you can meet another. And I must say, next month is 18 years the center has been in operation, and we have met a lot of good people. Lots of these stories starts with one person giving a call. Hi, El Socorro, I saw a bird damaged in my backyard. And that's the difference between life and death for a lot of animals. That was the difference between life and death for him. Another few hours, and his necrosis, his body probably would not have been able to handle what was going on with it, the rot and the decay and the infection. So good people out there make a difference, and we would like to salute all those people who care more than the lottery and themselves and would make an effort to save an animal that needs help.
No, it's always, I'm happy to say about that there's still a lot of good people out there. Because as you said, that a lot of people just don't care, but show me 5 good men. Donna, it's really good seeing you again. Thanks for coming along and bringing T'Challa with you. And before we close, I don't know if there's any messages you'd like to impart to the public, particularly with raptors as well.
My favorite animal to work with was and always will be raptors. They have a special place in my heart for me. So it really breaks my heart every time a raptor comes into the center. And every time I deal with a raptor is because it was harmed by humans.
No.
I mean, that's not good. That's not good at all. And for someone that loves raptors, it really breaks my heart seeing them suffering because of us. So my message is, if you know some, we have been to this place and I have heard kids talking. They would see the birds and they would be like, my uncle shoot that bird. I'm like, why? Tell your uncle that what he's doing is wrong.
So even from a young age,
that's what they've been exposed to.
Wow. But T'Challa, it's nice meeting you. Nice hearing from you.
Yeah.
You're very vocal this morning, which is good. I'm so glad we got to see you and hear you. Ricardo, before we bid farewell, as I always say, please share information with people so that they can contact you guys.
Again, reaching the El Socorro Center is very simple. Give us a call straight up, 366-4369. That's our cell phone. We answer it 24/7. You can WhatsApp us if you're shy and we don't want to speak to someone. WhatsApp us. Use the technology. You see an animal or something that is wrong with the environment or people doing something wrong, use your camera, take a picture, video, forward it to us. And, if you want to remain anonymous, so be it, not a problem. But we just are doing this for the animal's sake. Also, we're on Instagram, ECWC_TT, Facebook with the same handle, Threads. We're out there. You can also reach us on our website, wildliferescuett.org, or shoot us an email, wildlife.tt@gmail.com. So there are so many ways to reach out to the center to help if you want to, or to just try to reach us to offer assistance to an animal that is in distress. Please let it be wildlife. We do not do dogs and cats. We've been swamped with calls every single day about kittens. We don't have the capacity to handle domesticated animals. They should not really be around wildlife in the way that you think that it should be. So we try to keep back in our crease. We deal with wildlife. So if there's a snake in your roof, call us. If there's a kitten on your roof, call the fire services.
And then, you know, if you need to get through to the Ascent and you don't know how to, you can always call us here as well. We'd be happy to put you on to the center as well here at WESN. Ricardo, Don, guys, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for having us on Wild Wednesday.
On Wild Wednesday.
Right. We look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday when we try to get a little wilder.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. T'Challa, thank you very much, my friend. He's like, no, I'm not taking you on. You've got no crabs. I got to, as you said, he's batting in his crease. He knows who feeds him, so.
Hey, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on the Empire once more. Have a wonderful day ahead. Maybe a safe one, a productive one, and if things go well, we'll see you again tomorrow morning. But until then, I'm Keaton Shaw. Bye-bye.
WESN.
I'm Andre Elbertis, and you're watching WESN, the content capital.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.